Hello. Okay, so all right, so we are going to try this again. Um, Unfortunately, we should have been read this chapter about 3 weeks ago, but I've been having some technical difficulties. So we're gonna see how this goes tonight. Last night or yesterday morning, I did try to go live, and I had more technical difficulties. So we're gonna see how this goes. So I'm just making sure my audio is all good because right now it is looking good. Um alrighty. Okay. So how was y'all's day? Mine's was okay. Seen family. Um I went to get my nails done. They honestly did not turn out how I really want them. See, I try to get a candy corn look. I don't know if y'all can see this. Oh shoot, I didn't know I had focus. Look at the background all blurry. See, I got a good camera. But yeah, I don't know if y'all can see that. I try to do a little candy corn thing for Halloween and everything, but we're gonna try again in a couple weeks. We're gonna try the candy corn thing in a couple weeks because I really want to do it. But anyway, we're gonna start reading our chapter 10 dragons. All right, so give me 1 second. Okay, we're gonna get this shit done, get it over with. Okay, dragons. So, wait, is there anything I need to say about dragons? Okay, I'm gonna read the summary of dragons first before I read because for some reason I like to read this first before I read the chapter. In Dragons, Glennon reflects on the lies, and you know what? I'm going to read the chapter first. How about that? We're going to read the chapter first. But anyway, let's go ahead and start. When I was a little girl, my grandmother gave me a snow globe as a birthday gift. I remember I got a snow globe as a Christmas gift. You know what? Actually, it was a birthday gift when I think I was probably like 9 or 10. I will never forget because I used to set it up on my bed every night, and I used to shake it. And there was times I would drop it accidentally on purpose so that the liquid stuff would come out because I was always curious about that stuff. I wanted to kind of fuck up that little world inside that ball with that little house, and then when you shake it up, the snow is falling. Okay, audio is good and stuff like that. So I was always curious. I felt like I was God, and then whatever I wanted to happen in this small globe with this house with the snow on it, I have full control. I can shake this snow globe and it'll start snowing because of me, which make me God and um which makes whoever's living in that small house in that snow globe, yeah, it's me. I shook it up. I shook it up. But anyway, okay. It was small and round, like a palm sized crystal ball. In its center stood a red dragon with sparkly scales, bright green eyes, and fiery wings. When I first took it home, I put it on the nightstand beside my bed. Then I'd lie awake at night, wide-eyed, feeling afraid that the dragon existed so close to me in the dark. So one night I climbed out of bed and moved the snow globe to the highest shelf in my room. Every once in a while, only in the light of day, I'd pull my desk chair over, climb up, pull the snow globe off the shelf. I'd shake it, get still, and watch the snowflakes swirl. As they began to settle, the fiery red dragon in the center of the globe would emerge, and I'd feel a chilly thrill. That dragon was magical and scary, always there, unmoving, just waiting to be shaken. To be shaken. All right. My friend Megan is 5 years sober now after a decade of alcohol and drug abuse. Lately, she's been trying to figure out what happened to her, how addiction had taken over the life of such a strong woman. That reminds me because addiction took over the life of my mother. That's the reason my mother died, because she was an alcoholic. So many situations, she became like, we literally watched the moment she became an alcoholic. So i so i think dramatic experiences can turn you into somebody that you never thought you would ever turn into. And I saw it, and I know, like, me and my siblings, we know my mom was a strong woman. My mom was strict, and she was raised in a generation that was just kind of very mean and just s- evil. I'm gonna say evil, but I understand. But that lady was strong. That lady was strong. She was a single mom, you know, and she was strong. And I don't wish that on nobody. But yeah, my mom, she died from cirrhosis of the liver. So, and I think I'm to the point now where I barely drink like hard liquor. I don't like to drink hard liquor because it's nasty. It just don't do nothing for me no more. So the strongest I would probably drink is some wine, and I barely drink wine. I drink wine when I know I'm about to fuck. That's when I own. That's only when I drink wine. The only time I drink wine. But and I think I don't like liquor because of my mom. Her mom died from the same thing. Her dad died from cancer, but they all were alcoholics. So now I don't even know which one of us gonna be the alcoholic in the family. Let's hope. I hope and pray that none of us are. But a lot, I think majority of my family think I'm gonna be the alcoholic. I really think that. I think they think that, but I'm not. I do not like alcohol. I hate it. But anyway, let us continue. On Megan's wedding day, she sat in the back of the chapel, knowing she didn't want to marry the man waiting for her at the end of the aisle. She knew it from her roots. Why do we do this to ourselves? Why excuse me, why do we do this to ourselves? We be knowing we don't want to do something, but we go through with it. And that's the thing. I've even done it. I look at it as, this is how I look at it. I'm like, this probably something I needed to go through, even though I don't want to go through it. When I get through this, I'm going to have learned something at the end of it. That's just how I look at it. I'm like, I right now I don't got the guts to really say how I feel. So I'm gonna just go through this traumatic thing that I know I don't have to go through, but I'm gonna take myself through it anyway, because on the other side I might learn something from it. So that's how I look at things, especially when I really didn't have the guts to say, "Hey, this is just not for me," or saying no was just so difficult for me. You know, yeah. I don't know why we do it, but I think most times we're just conditioned to just always say yes, no matter what, because we're women. We got to be nice. You ever just felt like you were performing around a bunch of men, and you just had to be nice. It's like you were obligated to be nice just because they were a man. Yeah, I think we've all been there, but I think a lot of women are waking up. I seen this story of a woman also, where she said a bunch of women in their 40s are starting to wake up and realize that, hey, Fuck you. I don't need a fucking relationship. I don't need this. I don't need this. You're stressful enough, you know? But anyway, yeah, see, I need to stop. I got to stop this because oh, yeah, anyway. She married him anyway because she was 35 years old and getting married was what she was supposed to do. She married him anyway because there were so many people she would have disappointed if she had called it off. How many of y'all made choices for every fucking body around you except you? You felt like I gotta be married. I had a friend at one point who was this person felt like they were getting older. They felt like they needed to be married by a certain age. It's like, who are you living for? Why are you stressing yourself out because you feel like you need to be married at a certain age? Is it for you or is it for your peers? So when you go around your peers, you can say, yeah, I got a wife. I got kids and stuff like that. Like, why is it why do people stress themselves out to the point that they need to be married by a certain age because they feel obligated to do that, or because their family pressure them into marrying at a certain age? And so they rush trying to look for anybody that will probably marry them. Like, most times these type of people, they settle because it's not about if I love this person or if we connect. It's about, I need to get married by this time, otherwise I failed. You shouldn't think like that, but understood, we're conditioned to think like that. But anyway, yeah. Okay. I be having to check my audio because the last couple of times I went live, my audio just keep going out, just keep going blank. So I just got to keep on checking because I'm getting scared. You know? All right. There was only one of her. So she disappointed herself instead. She said, I do, while her inside said, I don't. And then she spent the next decade trying not to know what she knew, that she had betrayed herself and that her life would not really begin until she stopped betraying herself. The only way not to know was to go wasted, was to get wasted and stay that way. So she started drinking heavily during her honeymoon. The drunker she became, the more distance she felt from the dragon inside her. After a while, the booze and drugs became her problem, which was convenient because she didn't have to deal with her real problem anymore. See, that be the problem. That be the problem. It don't Your problems will turn into something else. Sometimes when you have these problems, you look to drugs, you look to liquor to, deal with those problems. Those problems don't go away. It's just being under the influence allows you to deal with them, or um to know that they're there without them affecting you. It kind of numbs you to the problems and things like that. So when you are so addicted to leaving your reality because your reality is problematic and you use drugs or alcohol to do that, those problems that you're running from will turn the problem will now become the alcohol and the drugs. That will become the problem because you're using that to run from the real problem. And the real problem needs to be dealt with head on. And the longer you run from it, the longer you use these substances to run from it, the more that these substances will become a problem in your life. I promise you. I watched it. I seen it. I seen it. You can't run from the problems. You can't run from the pain. You got to get through it. You got to get through it. The drugs are, they're not going to work. They're only going to slowly, we're already dying slowly, but they're going to kill you quicker. They're going to take you to your grave quicker. Okay? So, we're like snow globes. We spend all of our time, energy, words, and money creating a flurry, trying not to know, making sure that the snow doesn't settle so we never have no face. So we never have to face the fiery truth inside us, solid and unmoving. The relationship is over. The wine is winning. The pills aren't for back pain anymore. He's never coming back. That book won't write itself. The move is the only way. Quitting this job will save my life. It is abuse. You never grieved him. It's been 6 months since we made love. Spending a lifetime hurting her is no life at all. We keep ourselves shaken up because there are dragons in our center, and the dragons must be waking up. You know, the dragon is sleep. I think the dragon, there's a dragon in all women. Since we talking about untamed and how most women are, you know, in a box because of men, there's a dragon inside of all women. You know, they condition us to be, you know, a version of pick me's, to where we perform so that we can get picked by a man, so that we can be the perfect helpmate to a man. We're conditioned to um we're conditioned to be that way. To, hold on, I forgot what point I was making. Oh yeah, yeah, that's what I was saying. So like I was saying, so I feel like all women's, we were all conditioned to, you know, put men at the center of our world. Like our highest accomplishment is to find a husband, find a man that wants to marry you, and you are worthy. Other than, if a man won't marry you, or you don't have a man, you're worthless. We're taught that. So a lot of times, some of us are so deep into the sunken place when it comes to the patriarchy, to the point we our whole life is based on, I need a man, I need a man, I need to find a man, I need to find, to the point that any man you talk to, you probably quickly falling in love. And it comes to a point that the pick me women, men don't like pick me women. Men can't stand pick me women. The women that they really, really, really like are the women they talk bad about. Those are the ones they like. Those are the ones they want. They talk bad about them because those women can't be controlled. Those women can't be controlled. So the thing is, and I'm sorry for going on about it because I'm going off topic, but what I was trying to say, there's a dragon, there's a fiery dragon within all women. And once we wake up from that deep ass sleep, from this patriarchy, from the fact that we feel as we're below men, or we got men in the center of our world, one day we're going, that men are, a lot of times men will be the reason that that fire wakes up inside of you. Men will be the reason. And I'm gonna start putting out the message. Like, I'm still going to put out a message, decentering men and male validation don't matter. But I also understand that sometimes women gotta go through that painful shit with men in order to wake that bad bitch up inside her, that fiery dragon up inside her. Sometimes you got to deal with these dudes. You have to deal with them because it's the only way. They are the key to unlock the higher, the higher, or the better version of you, the way better version of you. They are the key. Sometimes it takes a bunch of the chaos that they bring in order to wake your ass up. And that's how they get woken up. Because once you wake up and you stand on business with these dudes, then they're going to respect you more, for one. And sometimes it scares them into acting right. But if you allow a man, like they always say, oh, man only gonna do what a woman allows. Why the fuck we gotta allow some shit? Why can't y'all just be great human beings and just treat a person like a decent fucking human being? Why can't you just do that? Why do we have to allow some shit? Why do we have to be the cause for everything that happens to us? You know? It is what it is. But anyway, let me finish this chapter. Testing, testing. Great. The mic is doing good. We doing good today, y'all. We are doing great. Okay. All right. Oh shit, my hair is gotta make sure my hair is on good and stuff. Excuse me. Excuse me. One night back, when my children were babies, I was reading a book of poetry in the bathtub. I came across a poem called A Secret Life about deep secrets and how we all have them. I thought, well, I haven't had one since I got sober. I don't keep secrets anymore. That felt good. But then I read, it becomes what you most protect. If the government said you can protect one thing, all else is ours, it's what radiates and what can hurt. It's what radiates and what can hurt. If you get too close to it, excuse me, I stopped reading and thought, oh, wait, there's one thing I haven't even told my sister. My secret that radiates is that I find women infinitely more compelling and attractive than men. My secret is my suspicion that I was made to make love to a woman and cuddle with a woman and rely on a woman and live and die with a woman. I thought, so odd, that cannot be real. You've got a husband and 3 children. Your life is more than good enough. But why? Who told you that was a good enough life? The people in your family, the people around you, the people you care about the most, they conditioned you. A lot of our lives, a lot of us are living lives that are not really ours. You think it's yours. That's because you've been conditioned after years and years and years and years and years, and you feel like you're making your own choices, but you've been conditioned to make these choices. For example, I always say this. I, I had a I had a friend who I had a debate with about this one time. Um he's a Christian and he has a Christian father for a pastor. He a Christian pastor father. His father is a pastor of his church. Or okay, I had a friend that I was debating, right? And he has a pastor for a dad. His dad is a pastor. And I was telling him that in so many words, you didn't choose your own religion. And he would argue with me, yes, I did. I chose this religion. If I want to, I can go to a different religion if I want. Yes, you can go to a different religion, but you didn't choose the religion that you going by right now. The religion that you believe in and why you go to church and stuff, you didn't choose that. And we were getting like it was becoming a heated conversation. And so I asked him, I'm like, okay, so your dad's a Christian. What if your daddy was born a Jehovah's Witness and he brought you up as a Jehovah's Witness? What the fuck will you be today? I would still be a Christian. No, the fuck you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. And this is the thing about arguing with men. They hate to be wrong. Like, I'm right. If your motherfucking dad brought you up as a fucking Muslim, you would be Muslim. So your religion you did not choose, it was chosen before you. It was chosen for you before you was even born. So because you grew up in that from an infant child, you think that you made the choice. No, it's not yours. What do you really want to like? Who are you without somebody choosing that for you? You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I don't know. So yeah, we got into that little heated argument, and that's just how it is. Like most of us, we live in lives. We're living lives for other people and don't realize it. And that's why, like, I feel like I'm blessed because I was in a really long-term relationship. I'm so blessed that I didn't get pregnant in that relationship, because there was a time where I did want kids, but I only wanted a child for that relationship and for my mom, not for me, because I always knew I didn't want kids. I don't think that this lifetime motherhood is the calling for me. I don't think that it's for me in this lifetime. Maybe the next lifetime, I think I have a different calling in this lifetime. And I think a child would get in the way of that calling. A child would stress me the fuck out. I do believe that if I did have a child, I would turn into the best version for that child. I would be the best mother. I do believe that. I do believe motherhood turns you into something and you have no control over that. You just transform. But I just know it's not for me. So, and the older I got, the more I realized, like, the choice is mine. If I want to live life a certain way, I have the choice to do that unapologetically. No ill will towards anyone else, nothing personal. I know I can do it because I can and I'm grown, and who's going to beat my ass? So that's how I feel. I think I got like one more small little paragraph. As I climbed out of the tub and shook my hair dry, I told myself, maybe in a different life. Isn't that interesting? As if I had more than one. I clearly just said that. But I do believe that when you do die, depending on how um awakened you are, in a sense, you'll go somewhere else or you'll come back in this room. And this room is like school. This is hell. This is where we learn. This is like the lowest. Earth is like the lowest of the low. We learn here. This is the school realm right here. We learn, and it's up to you to learn. Like me, I be trying to learn. I don't know if y'all know about Bobby Hemmett. I've listened to Bobby Hemmett. A lot of people might think he evil and things like that, but I'm like really trying to learn, like, from within the inner being of me. So we are finished with that chapter. Um, so first things first. In Dragon, so I'm going to be reading some of the notes and things like that. In Dragons, Glennon reflects on the lies and fears that keep women and people in general small and obedient. She describes how, as children, we're often taught to be good and quiet and be grateful instead of being honest or bold. See, them honest and bold kids in school, the ones that spoke up and wasn't no yes kids or yes people, those were the problem kids. Those were the kids that was probably put in them classes with the bad kids. Teachers had issues with those kids because the authority that raised us did not like to be challenged. So those kids that was asking them questions, um, holding these adults accountable, those kids were a problem. They kicked them kids out the class. They put them kids in them classes with a little bit of kids and made them seem like they were slow, but they wasn't slow. These kids were they just couldn't handle these kids. They couldn't answer some of the questions that these kids was asking. That's all that was. But anyway, what's going on? So she explains that as she grew, she realized these dragons weren't protecting her. They were keeping her from her true self. The moment she stopped guarding those dragons, she began to live freely and truthfully. Oh my God. Duh. Stop. Dang. Anyway, what's up, world? How y'all doing? It's Free World in the building. Anyway, we answering some questions. I just got done reading my book. If y'all want to follow along every Sunday at 2:30 to 3, we reading a chapter out of this book called Untamed. Stop, please, and start living, bitches. I got this off of Amazon if y'all want to follow the read. So anyway, um, let's see. Key things. Inherited fear. We're taught to guard the dragons, and dragons being expectations, taboos, instead of questioning them. Society trains us to protect the system rather than ourselves. Yes, that is true. We always trying to protect the fucking rules when the rules are shit. The rules be shit. Free. Don't. It's freedom. It's free and freedom. And don't put dumb like that because I'm not a dumb. I'm not dumb. Pussy. Pussy. Okay. Conditioning versus freedom. Many of our fears come from conditioning, not intuition. Real freedom starts when you stop protecting the lies and start listening to your inner voice. Conditioning versus freedom. Conditioning is what the world teaches you to be. It's the quiet training that starts early when you learn what's acceptable, what's ladylike. What the fuck is ladylike? Shit. What's respectful or what's too much? Ugh, you're masculine. These girls today are masculine. I wonder why. Maybe because the men are feminine. We got to make up for the lack of masculinity in the men. That's why we masculine. But anyway, smile even when you're uncomfortable. Ladies, how many of y'all went through that? How many of y'all you was taught this? You don't realize it, but you was taught this. We all was taught this. You smile even when you was uncomfortable. Somebody was saying some inappropriate shit to you and you smile because you was uncomfortable, because you know that if you confront a man or a lot of men, they get violent. They start calling you out. You don't know how that experience is going to go when you reject his motherfucking ass. So we're taught that, whether you realize it or not. We're ladies, you're all taught that from a little itty bitty girl. Anyway, what's funny? Autocorrect. I mean, yeah, I guess. Um, Shrink your truth to keep others comfortable. So dimming your light, being like, if somebody say, I think you talk too loud, you start talking different. So to make, no, you don't do that. If they don't like it, they can move around. That it's not your job to change who you are to make other people feel comfortable so that they can feel like they're above you, or they can feel, I don't know, they're trying to bring you down in a way. Protect systems and expectations that never protected you. So, what's an example of that? Men will be men. Men will be men. He's gonna cheat, but honey, one day he's gonna love you. I promise. Just stick it there. Stick it through thick and thin with him, and he's gonna love you. Yeah. Ladies, that's the dumbest shit they ever told us. That's the dumbest shit they ever told us. Be the hoe. The men like hoes. You see, I also I seen the interview with Bow Wow, interview with Little Berg. And there's other men who talk about Corinne Steffens. They love that woman. They love that hoe. They love her. But it's the fact that they care so much about male validation. They care they care so much about what other men think. They will lose out on the love of their life because other men said she's a hoe. I wouldn't date her. Yeah, you're right. I'm not going to date that woman because my homeboy said so. But I really love her. I know she's going to give me everything that I need in a woman. But my homeboys don't like her. So, you know what? I'm not going to take her serious. That's the weirdest shit to me. Y'all, I don't, it's the weirdest shit. But anyway, Glennon calls this the work of being a dragon guard. Keeping watch over old fears, lies, and rules that were never meant to serve you. Conditioning whispers that we're not, that you don't really know you're being conditioned. But these are some of the whispers that were conditioned growing up as little girls. Be good, be quiet, don't make people uncomfortable, don't be too different. And no, this is for boys and girls, men and women. Like we all suffer this shit. We all suffer that. But this isn't peace. It's control disguised as safety. Be safe, so don't be too different. So literally they're conditioning us to perform our whole fucking life. That's why so many people are fucking drunks. They have alcoholism is in the way. A lot of people are going through a lot of shit because they've been pretending their whole life because that's what we've been conditioned to do. And then once the mask fall off and they feel like they're losing everything, everything go to shit because honey, you've been wearing a mask for 80 fucking years. You've been wearing a mask, you're fucking exhausted. You've been performing for fucking 80,000 fucking years. That's why you got cancer. That's why you got diabetes. That's why you sick as fuck because you've been performing. You ain't been yourself for so many years, and that stress will catch up with your motherfucking ass. Freedom. That's my name. That's my name. Freedom begins when when you realize you don't have to guard those dragons anymore. It's the moment you choose truth over pleasing and authenticity over approval. Freedom sounds like I don't have to be who they expect. I could just be me. Who they expect me to be ain't got shit to do with me. That's just a version of me that they created in their mind, and that's not who I am. That's the version you want me to be. My peace matters more than their comfort. And that's something I really need to work on because it's sometimes I be somebody I would know, I don't know. I would know that someone probably wants some of my time and I probably wouldn't, not that I don't want the time with a person, but there's times where I would just only say yes to please them. Even if I know, hey, I need to do laundry. I should be home cleaning up. I need to do this. I need to do that. I need to be recording something. But I need to please them to make them feel better. I'm working on that. I'm working on that. So sometimes I would just I don't know, I just be silent, instead of feeding into certain things. And the last one, I'm allowed to want more. Yes, you are allowed to want more. So if you are a woman and you find it so hard to perform, to be in like a relationship or even a marriage or something, and you find it hard, like you probably was meant to be a hoe. You probably was meant to be a hoe. But you in when uh, I ain't gonna say hoe. Hoe means humping on everybody. Get it? HOE, humping on everybody. So I ain't gonna say a hoe. You were supposed to be a mingling queen, maybe. But uh we'll get back to that. Oh yeah, that's what I was saying. You are allowed to want more. It's okay, ladies, if you want to sex 10 different dicks. There's going to be consequences. I promise. There's going to be people who talk about you. There's going to be people who belittle you, who make you sound like you're just the most disgustingest person. But if that's what you want, you could do that. And you could do it unapologetically, and you could care less what they talking about. But if you want to suck 10 dicks, go for it. I'm rooting for you. If you like it, I love it. Me personally, I wouldn't do it, but if that's what you like to do, I'm rooting for you. Okay. It's the unlearning, peeling back layers of who you were told to be so you can finally meet who you really are. So, I don't know if any of y'all believe this or whatever, but um we die numerous times in our lives. Just like a cat got 9 lives, bitch, I have 80 of them. I have so many different lives. I ain't gonna say 80, but there's been so many different versions of me that if those versions of me were still here, if I was still those versions of me, I would not be where I'm at right now. So it's like the Jesus story. The older versions of me had to die for me to be born. The older versions of me died for my sins today. So the older versions of me, I had to kill that whore. I had to kill her because she was stunting my growth. But it was very important for her to die because she died so that I can elevate. And another thing, Nipsey Hussle, for example, when he died, that's when my spiritual journey started. It started like to accelerate. I was on a spiritual journey looking for myself. I was looking for a lot of shit within. And then when he died and all the attention was on him, I never really listened to his music like that. Didn't really know who he was. I used to see him and talking a lot about stuff like good shit, positive shit. I used to see him in that light in interviews and stuff. But when he died, I start seeing him way more. So I start stopping and listening to him. And he recommended a bunch of books, and then that's when I start reading books because I really was intrigued by this black man who went to prison or whatever. I don't know if he ever went to prison, but he was in the streets, and I was intrigued. I liked him a lot because he was smart, he was doing good, you know. A black man from the hood in the streets gang banging or whatever, you wouldn't never think that these type of men would know what he knew. And so I really admire that, and he was authentic. I admired that. And so I really valued his opinion. So I read some of the books he gave. The first book I ever read that he recommended, I read it 3 times, and it was called Three Magic Words. Really, really good book. Read it once, it was good. Really couldn't understand it like that. So that's the reason I read it the second time. Read it the second time, completely different book, great, lovely book. Then I'm like, okay, if it was that different when I read it the second time, I'm gonna try to read it the third time. Read it the third time, I got it even more. it wasn't too much different, but I understood. I caught things that I missed the last two times I read still. And if I read it a fourth time, I probably would have caught more as well. But yeah, so when he died, it took his death to wake me up. And also, even another example, my mom died. When my mom died, yeah, when my mom died, when she died, that's when the, I don't know, something in me woke up. Something in me, I had more guts. I wasn't scared to this is when I started speaking up for myself when my mom died. So um I look at everything. So that's why I never really had the big cry when my mom died, because I know I look at death totally different than most people. Death is supposed to happen. We're all going to meet death one day. So I look at death as, hey, you're back. You're finally here. I'm going back home. So death is a good thing. You made it. When somebody like somebody close to me or somebody that I know died, it's like, damn, you made it. You finally got out of this hellhole. You went back. So, but still, RIP to all the dead folk out there. RIP to you, mother. Love yous. You're thinking about you all the time. Um, Freedom doesn't mean no fear. It means moving away. You stop asking, what will they think? And start asking, what feels right for me? Right? It doesn't matter what they think. As long as what you are doing is not physically hurting anyone, then you're doing what you're supposed to do. You're doing the right thing. It's not about what make other people uncomfortable, because you just being yourself can make people uncomfortable. And you can't control that. So what you gonna do? Change who you are? No, that's up to the person who feels uncomfortable. Change the way you take in things or interpret other people's actions, and you'll feel better. So I just think, yeah, stop living for others. The truth will set you free. But first, it will make you wild for sure. For sure. I can agree with that. It'll make you wild. Awakening. Doyle realizes her role isn't to keep the world comfortable, it is to be fully alive. It is to be fully alive. Because if you are living to make others comfortable, you're going to be living a life performing. You're going to be performing all your fucking life, because you can't please everybody. You just can't. You can be doing good all day, every day, and intentionally be doing good. Somebody's still gonna say something. Somebody's still gonna have a problem. She connects this to motherhood, showing how she doesn't want to pass down fear to her children. So that is how generational curses are created. Because, for example, I'm a woman who centers men around, and who men is the center of my world, right? Um, I care so much about what men think. I'll die for men. I will fucking put my sister in a uncomfortable, a fucked up situation just to please a man. And I have daughters. I have daughters, and I teach them, you need to do this for men all the time, this and that and this and that. And the more I teach them that, they're going to think that's just how life is going to be. And then they're going to have daughters, and they're going to teach their daughters that. And I just started a whole generational curse because of my fucking fucked up belief system. That's how generational curses are started, because you believe some silly shit. You think it's real. It's understood. It's understandable. You think it's real, but it's not. You were taught it and it was stupid. We just freestyling in this world. We don't know what the fuck is right and what the fuck is wrong. We just freestyling. We just, moving and learning, and humanity is just going with the flow. So yeah, that's how generational curses is created. Truth as liberation, naming your dragons. The lies you've been told to guard gives you power. Once you face them, you realize they were illusions all along. So when they say women need to be quiet and things like that, that is what will liberate you. The things that they tell you to not do is the things that will is the things that make you who you are, is the things that empowers you. Don't be too much. Don't be too different. What is being too different? What if that's my personality? Is me being me too different? What if me just being my authentic self is that too different? What is too different? All right. What dragons were you told to protect growing up? For example, being polite. What dragons were you told to protect growing up? Hmm. I don't know, a lot. Being like conditioned to pleasing, doing shit for others, even if I didn't want to, and doing it because they's an adult. Because I'm the adult. I said so. Sometimes I think parents had kids just to have little slaves, you know. See, that's what whoopings come from. That's a generational curse that's been passed down to us from mass and them. You know, they we saw our ancestors saw that they was being controlled by being whipped. Like shit, we listen because they whipping us. We don't want to get whipped, so we gonna listen to what massa say. So, oh, that's a great idea. Let me whip my motherfucking kids because so they can listen to me. So whippings came from mass and them. That was a generational curse that was passed down to us from massa. Okay. Have those fears shape the way you move through the world today? Shit, people pleasing, it shaped me into being in my 30s and finally starting to speak up for myself. You know, I'm in the beginning of my 30s, but it was when I turned 30 is when things start to click differently for me. I started to save. I started to realize the importance of, stacking money. Other than that, I used to just spend, spend, spend. Um, when I turned 30, my mind just changed. I just learned, you know, I just learned I don't have to do shit that I don't want to do just to please the next person or just to please a man or men in general, because I feel like we've all been there, done that. Um okay. Fuck. Sorry. My bad. Can you remember a time when you challenged one of your dragons? What happened? I ain't even gonna go there because I probably got knocked upside the head. I don't know. Um, how can we teach younger generations to face dragons instead of guard them? That's why I do what I do. That's why I talk the way I talk. That's why I put the messages out there the way I put the messages out there, so that younger women or people can catch on. A lot of them won't, understood, but it's for the ones that will. I'm throwing seeds out there, and the seed is going to catch whoever it catch. It's not up to me who it catches, but it's gonna catch some, and that's all that matters. That's my only goal. My only goal is to help and also just allow women. Don't shame women for making the dumb decisions that they make, because bitch, you made these dumb decisions. You ain't no better. You're just older and you're just more aware. And you learn from the dumbass mistakes that you've made. So the fact that a lot of people sometimes do be judging younger women like they're supposed to know any better, shut the fuck up. You've been there, you've done that, and the only reason you know what she should do with her in this situation is because you've been through a similar situation. That's the only reason you know what she should do in this situation. You've been through it. And you learned. So let these younger women learn. That's how I am. And I give these messages and things like that, but my main but I know there's millions of women who was like me because people used to tell me shit. And me, I'm the type of person like, I don't give a fuck what you talking about. I don't give a fuck if this man ain't good for me. I'm gonna learn that shit on my own. I don't need to hear that from you. You hating. You hating on my relationship. That's exactly how I used to feel. Stop telling me shit. I don't see it. Y'all don't know what I know about this man or this woman. Y'all don't know what I see. Y'all don't know what I experience. Shut the fuck up trying to tell me about my shit. I'm not listening. If he or she is as bad as you say they are, I will eventually find that out, but on my own. I'm big on learning from my own experiences and not from what somebody tell me. And that's how everybody should be. Cuz I don't want nobody coming to you telling you about me and you just believe in them. You need to figure that out for yourself. A real person will figure that out for themselves. Because I'm not going to listen to somebody. I may listen to them and hear them talking and everything, but I'm not going to take that in and be like, yeah, yeah, that person bad because this bitch said it. No, I'm going to figure that out on my own. I'm going to try to figure that out for myself. So, yeah. But anyway, like I said earlier, I truly, truly, truly apologize. I haven't been on here in 3 weeks. Try to do it last night, but technical difficulties, fucking up, pissed me off. I start burning. So I went to sleep. And now we here tonight or in the morning, and I feel great. I feel great. I feel accomplished. Um, and thank y'all so much for tuning in. Thank y'all for bearing with me. And anyway, thank you so much for tuning in to Free World TV. And as I always say, through every struggle, a statement is made. It's your girl, Free, and I'm out. Peace.